Say whatever you want about exclusivity. One thing that I can say for sure is PlayStation now realizes that this is a proposition that they can't sustain with the nature of their ecosystem. I almost want to go ahead and make this proposal, but you know what? Why not just go ahead and do it? PC is now a part of PlayStation's ecosystem. They recognize the PC platform as a part of their ecosystem where they are able to sell their games, where they've seen some success, even though right now, because of their lag in their, release of these games, it seems like the sales are not necessarily pushing that much. Some are proposing that they probably back away from PC because it seems like people aren't buying their games. But you have to remember that the PlayStation Plus or PlayStation Network account requirement was something of a turn off. And then seeing how this past, weekend went down, I don't think there's any confidence for that. So retroactively, they went ahead and removed this network requirement on, in quotes, some games. But I think until PlayStation is ready to divest of all of their console-like aspects, they'll do better on PC at that point. Before then, I'm not certain that PC players are really happy with them at this moment. You can also see this trend and when it actually did make the shift. Because if you go, say, back to games like Marvel Spider-Man, the 2018 version, Miles Morales, Horizon Zero Dawn, Days Gone, these games reviewed in a healthy way. The moment Helldivers 2 Fiasco went down, that's where you started seeing a few weird things happen. State of Play is coming very soon. At any point in time, by the time you've watched this video, maybe afterwards, you'll be seeing PlayStation State of Play. And I think something is going to be very apparent to many folk. It's that what their priorities are more than likely going to look very different. No one really knows exactly the mix of the games that are going to be showing up. I guess maybe we might see a Wolverine game. Perhaps I'm shooting too high. But, it would be nice for us to be able to get something about that game. It's been in development for a while now. And Insomniac has basically seemingly moved past their Spider-Man development. And perhaps they might have something to show. Who knows? And possibly we might be seeing more of Ghost of Yotei. However, one thing people are now starting to talk about is the potential for PC reveals and all that stuff. And to be honest, man, I don't think you really need PlayStation to tell you that their game is going to be coming to PC. They already shifted from there 5 years ago. They used to take the stance, and this is a statement from Herman Holst back in 2020, where he was basically declaring that they were not going to be moving to getting all their AAA first-party games on PC, but we know that's no longer the case. They have now taken the approach of everything is getting dropped on PC, even some day one, whether it be live service or remaster or even brand new game like Lego Horizon, Lost Soul aside, coming pretty soon. So we might even see that game, but it already has the notification for a PC release. Something, though, that should have told everyone that PlayStation's pivot from multi-plat is actually very important was revealed in 2023. December of that year, the year that PlayStation got its, significant hack, Insomniac specifically, one article or a series of articles came out pointing to one specific thing, which they said and claimed that Sony reportedly pressured its studios to make big cuts amid increasing development costs. In this article, they were talking about how the hackers went ahead and breached Insomniac, and people saw inside of the documents that files showed that Insomniac was under pressure to make budget cuts with 50 to 75 layoffs earmarked for the studio. Insomniac staff reportedly discussed how to remove 50 to 75 people strategically as requested by Sony, with the best option supposedly to cut deeply into the Wolverine and Spider-Man 3 teams and replacing staff with team members from the unannounced new Ratchet & Clank game and a new unannounced IP. So you mean to tell me these guys don't have the tolerance for the expenses that comes with their game development, and yet they're keeping exclusivity? How long can they maintain exclusivity? Because it's all a show. The talk about the console sales it's literally expediently debunked by this particular action where they're facing pressure to cut down staff so that they can pretty much find places to be able to squeeze some margin at the end of the day. Absolutely dirty. The simple thing that could easily be done is just to sell the game on platforms that you are already in cahoots with, which is PC. I don't see where PlayStation is playing this "we're not doing day and date" game too long if they keep their game development budgets. And so when you look at State of Play tomorrow, and you look at whatever, or so whenever you watch it, I don't know why I said tomorrow, depending on where and whenever you watch it, you're going to be seeing them come out with all of this talk, but deep down inside of their own inner workings is the is the expedience to be able to get these games to show up on the platform where software is going to sell more. Guys, awards, console sales, exclusivity, those things are not anywhere near the need and the requirement for software and game sales. Awards don't pay bills. I was telling people, I said, all this talk about, oh, this game won an award, this game was nominated, they don't pay bills. Because the award and the nominations doesn't mean that 1 more million of you are going to go ahead and go buy the game. Y'all didn't buy the game by the time it got to the award ceremony, so you're probably not going to go ahead and buy it. So more and more, I wouldn't be so shocked to see that PlayStation is now starting to pretty much add PC into the pipeline of more games. Because already they launched 4 games on PC day one. You know, a mix of remaster, live service, all of the above. They launched them all on PC in 2024. So I'm going to be looking at the State of Play from a different perspective. The last time I saw a State of Play was Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And I wasn't even talking too heavily about this content. We hadn't seen documents as such at the time. And so very, very importantly now, I'm kind of jaded in a sense where the reality has now hit me and I just can't see anything differently. You feel me? Like I'm looking at PlayStation, I'm looking at Xbox, and I'm like, oh, so this is why Xbox basically went ahead and did this with PC all the way back in 2016. And I look at PlayStation dragging their feet and I say, why are you guys dragging your feet? You don't seem like you have the luxury to drag your feet. What it seems to me is that you're hoping that the way the exclusivity is positioned in the market, that you can pretty much, get off a few million units of your game before people realize that, man, this is crazy. This says, according to the leaked document, Sony has called on staff cuts across its first-party studios. Officially, we know a number of layoffs at PlayStation Studios, including a wave of redundancies at Dreams developer. And so they were cutting developers from their studios while they were looking for a way to basically, at the same time, break even, because they needed to be able to sell that many copies for their Spider-Man game. Very interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. Because if you think about it, the leaked documents show increasingly precarious nature of AAA video game production, which some experts have called unsustainable. You don't need an expert to call something unsustainable when even by the time your game is launching, you're trying to lay off people before you even see, much sales in terms of the money. And Insomniac is not alone in spending hundreds of millions of dollars on individual on individual titles. In June, documents revealed as part of Xbox's Federal Trade Commission lawsuit, The Last of Us Part 2 and Horizon Forbidden West each cost more than $200 million to develop. According to the documents, The Last of Us Part 2 cost $220 million to develop with a peak headcount of 200 full-time employees. Guerrilla Games' Forbidden West cost $212 million to develop and utilize more than 300 developers. Insomniac stressed the need to keep the budget for future AAA games at $350 million or less in a slide quoted in Kotaku's report. Interesting stuff, ladies and gentlemen. So if they're not coming to the table with a game like, Wolverine or, something that is from their studios, I don't know. Maybe, it's a 40-minute show, so I'm hoping that they're coming in with some really big stuff that can create excitement, because they're going to need every ounce of it if their studios and their budgets are looking like this. But again, like I said, my eyes have already, I can't unsee what I just saw. I guess we're going to basically see how the State of Play goes. I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that it actually is something that can create excitement, that can actually bring some really solid games to the PlayStation ecosystem. Talk to me in the comment section. Thanks for watching. Peace out.